Seen a lot of Tristana for LeBlanc trades in the recent weeks, but that also means the Kai'Sa gets locked in for life. I mean, this is going to be a real challenge because that was one of my critiques for the side of Weibo Gaming, but I'm sure they're more than happy with the draft so far, with the Renekton getting locked in, being considered. We've seen the Viego and LeBlanc quite often as a duo, but the problem is you need to have a very hard-hitting support that can provide those engages, so LvMao's position in this game one is very high.
Yeah, LvMao going to be crucial. Him and Chris both as supports that have certainly been massive moment makers in their previous teams. You know, LvMao, when you think of him on JDG, massive player. Crisp, when you think of him on FPX back in 2019, feels like a long time ago now, but a dominant player in his time, and he's going to have that Rakan. And I feel like Crisp has been consistently a really good support throughout the years. Like, you know, it's a long time since he won the World Championship, but I feel like he has maintained his form over those years to an exceptional level.
Yeah, I mean, Chris was definitely one of the most standout players in the side of FPX's entire roster. Honestly, that entire FPX roster was just such a pleasure to witness, especially Doinby. I miss him so dearly. But coming back into this ban phase, 4 and 5, the supports are going to get taken away. Like you said, I mean, the engage is going to be extremely crucial for LvMao to make up as that lack of frontline, but we'll have to wait and see. We still have champions like the Alistar available, where we have seen LvMao pick that up as well, but Weibo Gaming, they're most likely going to save this counter pick for TheShy, and I'm just wondering if we're going to get a K'Sante. Oh, I mean, we have the Renekton getting locked in, but I'm wondering if we're going to get a Quinn or Rumble as that final response.
Yeah, we'll have to see. TheShy, we have seen the Quinn from him. It was a win, so I'd be here for it. We'll see. Whether or not they need 380 carries on the roster, though, for the side of Weibo, that's a different question. Blitzcrank taken off the board away from LvMao here, as the Rakan denying the Xayah by default at this stage. Could be a double tree ban, even, honestly, from the side of RNG if they want to get rid of something like the Maokai as well. And there it is, the double tree. Deforestation on the side of RNG.
I wonder if they just lock in the Poppy here, because although you lack some sort of AP jungler, the Kai'Sa is more than happy to make up for that. It is going to get locked in, as we have the LeBlanc and Renekton already showing that could be flexed towards top side. We're not too sure yet. We have seen TheShy also play the Poppy matchup into the Renekton in previous weeks. We'll have to wait and see, but RNG now looking at their bottom lane options. The Xayah could be considered, the Draven would also be great, but that does mean it's feast or famine for LP in this game one.
Certainly would be. It's all-out aggression across the board. Honestly, Draven locked in here. Oh, and Milio. I feel like Milio fell off of a mountain, didn't he? I can't remember the... Like, Milio just feels like he went from first pick, first ban to barely ever getting picked these days. Could be good with the Draven, though. Does give you the extra range on the axis, gives you the burn as well. Can be fantastic for dominating the laning phase. LP and LvMao going to go for the double-ranged bottom lane here, leaving Light and Crisp to kind of struggle through the early laning phase you'd expect.
There's a reason why Milio kind of disappeared from the meta, and I feel like it's mainly because people realize this champion gets easily countered by AoE knockup, as Nico, I mean Rakan, all these champions just get onto Milio's face, and he's pretty much inescapable when you do get into those sticky situations. It's the K'Sante getting locked in for top lane. He should be fine. Top lane is going to be a relatively even matchup for the time being, but my eyes are definitely going to be on this bottom side. Like you said, LP needs to get ahead early on this Draven, or Weibo Gaming, they're just going to eat away at those towers.
They certainly are. I've got to say, I'm looking at mid lane, and it's not just because it's Xiaohu versus RNG. It's also Tristana versus LeBlanc, which you expect heavy trading in that kind of matchup. Xiaohu having the counter pick against his old team, against the player that has replaced him. And Tangyuan, this is his first year in the LPL. The fact that he's had so long until finishing off the year against his, you know, the player he's replacing, right at the very end of the summer split, and with seeding on the line, this feels like a huge moment for Tangyuan to show us what he is made of, to show us that he is a worthy replacement for the Emperor of Spring.
Like you said, playoffs is at the stakes for this best of 3, and we have spicy drafts coming in for this game 1. Shiv versus Shiv could be what the middle lane is going to look like, but Tristana is supposed to be the favorable matchup up against Tangyuan in this LeBlanc as the most critiqued player of Spring. He has to show up against his old mid laner of RNG.
We'll see if he can, and we'll see how Xiaohu is feeling up against RNG as well. He's got the Tristana, he's got a great matchup for himself. Feels like the tools are there and available, but Weibo have been inconsistent. Here's the Gyos come in. A lot of support out here. Oh. Got some bonus Gyos coming in. A lot of support on both sides, not surprising at all. RNG, always a house favorite, regardless of who's on the roster. And then obviously, I mean, when you look at Weibo, they've got so many legendary players within their ranks that you anticipate fans every single time. Let's talk game plan, Kitty, here. There's everything on the line for these two teams. LvMao has to back away as late invade coming out. Weibo going to drop a ward on the red buff. Let's talk game plans of how this early game should be played out. We'll start with RNG.
Because if you look at RNG's team composition, it's relatively straightforward. As Tangyuan, we've seen this champion do extremely well in the hands of Yago, where you have to be chowing down on those side lane towers as you pick up the Shiv. But Viego has been a champion that we've not too sure on in terms of how he fits into the current meta, because we've seen it pop off in the hands of Tarzan or Jie, but it does require you to full clear in the early game, while Weiwei, this game 1, he's on the Poppy, and Poppy, what he does, or what she does best, is forcing those flashes and forcing these ganks with that Hex Flash in hand. So as long as you're able to really spot out Weiwei across the entire map with these wards, which has been set down at each other's red buff, I mean, RNG, they just gonna dip their heads in until that first item spike.
Wait, gonna try and go for an invade here. He's not even gone for his Raptors just yet. Still level 2. Walks over a ward as he heads that way, and Weiwei beeline towards this bottom side. You can see Crisp toying with the idea of moving over as well, but Wei decides better of it, backs off. Well, we don't see a scrap just yet. Goes back to his chickens. Weiwei might follow him into the jungle, but no, just gonna drop a ward in Pixel Brush.
That's the value that Tangyuan starting the W, going over for a few orders onto Weiwei, but deceptively putting a ward down as well, spotting out that the Poppy was rotating after Wei walked over that ward over the river. But top lane is getting a little bit spicy. I do still believe that Renekton finds early advantages up against K'Sante. The flash stun!
Breathe! Flashes in, couldn't quite find the kill. TheShy walks away on 100 HP, but the pot is taken away. So's the door and shield. And look at that regen coming through for TheShy. He'll be okay on this one, survives. But I love the killer instinct out from Breathe, wanting to make things happen, as is Wei. RNG have entered the server, and they mean business today.
And Wei walked over that ward, over the dot bush, so Weiwei, he is just going to kind of path away from this Viego, as RNG, they have both mid party and bottom side getting pushed in, so Weiwei, he has to just dip down and trade the blue buffs.
He has to try. Weiwei going to move over to that blue quadrant as it's Scuttle Crabs traded for now, but you see Wei's going to move up to this top side now. Neither top laner with flash available, so it can get dicey, but Tangyuan seems like he has priority in the mid lane on the minimap as Weiwei walks over a ward, will be spotted. He can't go for an evade here.
This Poppy is getting tracked perfectly by the side of RNG. Like you said, even Breathe being very disciplined and placing a ward down in the river, just denying all gank opportunities. W hits.
Damage onto LP, but I don't think they can follow that one up. But it's a great little trade. Honestly, Weibo, you're happy with a trade like that? Because at the end of the day, if there's one thing Draven wants to do, it's win lane. So you can win out those trades if you can find big burst damage and get out of there before we can really return it. That's the dream scenario.
I'm wondering what approach of build LP is going to go today. We have seen a lot of Triforces and Essence Reaver as the two different builds, at least first item that the Draven could consider. We'll have to wait and see. Both of them do provide a lot of different stats, as Triforce does provide a bit of extra survivability with those stats. But we do have the Poppy once again on the ward, and I feel like this is something RNG does extremely well, which is placing down early vision, shutting down the enemy jungle of any potential gank opportunities. But once again, it's going to be about how the AD carries are going to really shine in those team fights. And I feel like LP, he is already getting some sort of a pressure in this 2v2 matchup with the Draven as a counter into Crisp's Rakan. So he's not going to be able to land any successful Ws if he's careful with this, as Light, because he's going to be most likely AP Kai'Sa. Oh, he got lethal tempo. It's an AD Kai'Sa, I'm pretty sure. So we'll have to wait and see for the item spikes.
That could well be the... I mean, the thing is, when you start longsword, you usually think Shiv, but I mean, basically, every AD carry item starts with a longsword, so could still be going towards the Kraken Slayer instead. We'll have to wait and see what Light ends up building on this one. As weiwei moving towards his bottom side. TP's out of both mid laners into their lane once again as weiwei tries to move in. Light wide on the W, and I think weiwei, yeah, thinks better of it. He'll return to his jungle.
The warding is just perfect from the side of RNG, and that's exactly what Wei needs to full clear and slowly reach that level 6, and that's exactly where RNG start to look for those successful skirmishes. I feel like this is a relatively slow start. We were expecting a very bloody game, but no one expected LvMao to 5th pick Milio as that final answer. But that is going to kind of sting in the future team fights, because if you look at RNG's composition, the only true frontline is going to be Breathe, but even Breathe doesn't have reliable CC or AoE to really zone off Weibo Gaming, so they have to play these fights very carefully with how they space with LP and Tangyuan.
Oh, weiwei found big damage onto Wei here to start a fight off. Could be in trouble as Wei doesn't get grounded. The rest of the team moving over. Wei is down to 300 HP. It's a great little shot from LvMao.
Crisp.
Or should I say Messi. Crisp looks for the engage onto LP, and the flash from weiwei as well. LP 1 HP, but he walks away. No, the auto flies in. Light with both summoners to finish the job.
God, the second LP uses his E, you see the flash commit from Chris, and it lands onto this Draven. A bit of a greedy hold on by the AD carry of RNG, and Light, he ends up getting first blood.
Phenomenal stuff from the side of Weibo, and all off the back of weiwei finding an opportunity in River, just going to town onto Wei, showing the early game power of this Poppy, and then the bot lane responding in kind.
Yeah, you see just the Poppy being an extremely strong solo champion when it comes to the early game, but LvMao not having his heal available to really help out Wei here. But the important thing is LP didn't flash the initial engage from Crisp, and at the end, I mean, it's just a bit of a greedy exchange as Light picks up the kill at the very end. So losing the stacks as well. I mean, we talked about how this Draven he needs to be ahead early.
It's a really tough one as well, because LP even flashing after the slow from weiwei. So even after the flash, he's still slowed. And that CS advantage that was picked up by LP, as well as all of those stacks, now kind of mitigated by the fact that Light gets first blood, 400 gold. He is headed towards that static shift to start us off, so perhaps will be the AP Kai'Sa coming through after all.
Here's the link of the iconic 2v2 in the top side.
TheShy in trouble, flashes out to safety along with his W. He'll get out of there. Summoner burns, but he keeps his life, and that's the most important thing.
An alive TheShy is a happy TheShy as Wei. He is just going to put some extra pressure with the Rift Herald up and available on the map right now. They do have a pink ward for the side of Weibo Gaming as Weiwei starts this one up. Xiaohu has complete mid control, so he gets first move. I'm assuming one of the supports should honestly move over as well, unless they think it's no need, as this Draven's still relatively decent in the lane, picking up those plates.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got the good matchup, right? They're still going to be pretty comfortable in the 2v2, having that range advantage thanks to the cozy campfire. Everyone jumping on forwards. I think that was a Hex flash from weiwei. I think his flash was already on court, and then Tangyuan obviously flashing out. Good attempt there, but Tangyuan, great reactions to know that's happening.
Not gonna lie, that was a really scary jump scare from both the Yordles of Weibo Gaming, but once again started up by the side of Weibo Gaming for this Rift Herald. That is exactly what you need when you lock in the Tristana composition. Get these plates early on, take down the mid tower as fast as possible, and then rotate this Tristana towards the side lanes and really utilize how she spikes with that Kraken in her pockets as well. We'll have to wait and see, because now weiwei does have that available.
And it feels, to be honest, like, it's not often I say this, it feels good to have a Fairly quiet early game here. It's actually, yeah, spotted. And then suddenly,
Oh,
yodels!
Jesus.
Flashes out to safety. So you can see the grin on his face, like, oh my god, I've never seen such surprising yodels in my life.
The scary
he'll
thing
survive
is
it. Great reactions, great reactions.
Yeah, because the scary thing is, Weiwei didn't even complete his Hex Flash yet. He only saw Xiaohu jumping in, and he already committed the flash. He knew Weiwei started the Rift Herald, dragging along the aggro, and he just was extremely disciplined and not being afraid to use that flash. As you are LeBlanc, you have 2 dashes inbuilt into your kit, so it's not going to be as much of a trade-off compared to someone like LP on this Draven, who still has a lot of room to go for those skirmishes.
Certainly does breathe. Crashing a wave in on the top side. TheShy doing very well in CS, actually. If he'll be able to hoover most of this up, it'll be about 10 CS up. I love the little ult there from LP on the bottom side. He's got 3 plates for himself, clears the wave to make sure that there's no chance of Light answering with any plates of his own, even with the static shift in his inventory. His Breathe has started to proxy farm at this point. Weiwei with Herald in pocket, but he's on the bottom side of the map right now. Could try and get Light a little bit ahead, or could even focus towards Xiaohu. You do have a Tristana in mid lane.
And the problem is going to be for the side of RNG, with this dragon spawning in 1 minute, without Breathe in the 4v4s, is going to be extremely difficult to kind of play off picks and at least a straightforward engage compared to the side of Weibo Gaming, where Crisp and Wei were already linking up for this mid lane.
Oh, Tangyuan is going to get blown to smithereens. Xiaohu with a beautiful combo and the team on board. Herald slammed down in the mid lane, demolished procced as well. That's 3 plates taken now. And a beautiful set piece from Weibo.
And Tangyuan not having that flash available does mean Poppy with that W available, she's not going to be able to escape from that exchange. And with the bottom lane duo rotating up, I mean, take all the plates you want, LP, because Kai'Sa's going to go back with the 2-0.
Once again, Light grabbing a lot of gold out of these plays. And just such a nice combo coming out. Tangyuan goes down, Xiaohu grabbing that kill, then Light grabbing the second. It's the perfect targets, the perfect recipients for that gold. And like you say, LP, yes, he's getting a fair bit of gold himself. He's got a CS lead. He's got 3 plates. Don't know if he'll be able to find a 4th one, though, honestly, as 2 minutes still on the clock for trying to get these plates. But Xiaohu's so good at clearing the waves.
Can we get a moment of appreciation of Crisp's Rakan so far into this game? Extremely clean flash W's coming out of this man and not giving any opportunities to react for the carries of RNG. And this is going to be its 8th game on Rakan in the summer split as well. Most played, but we'll have to wait and see. Dragon getting started up as we have a 5-man rotation coming out of both teams.
Breathe trying to zone away the enemy team here. Weibo got the first Drake of the game, so this will slow down Soul as RNG going to trade it here. 1-for-1 so far. And it will be a Chemtech Soul for this game. There's Weibo grouping up in the mid lane. They'll get at least 1 plate. They might be able to finish this tower with Demolish with a Tristana here. This tower should go down. A couple more autos will do the trick. And that's with plates still up. They finish the mid-tier 1.
They just want to get the job done. A full-on 5-man ARAM just to get tier 1 in the mid lane. But still, you want to free up Xiaohu from getting constricted in this middle lane and then start working towards those extra tower plates that is going to be provided through top and bottom. But with the Rift Herald spawning into, you already see Xiaohu pathing towards there as well. I mean, they're more than happy for LP to be taking up these solo plates in the bottom side because this Tristana is kind of snowballing out of control.
Certainly is. I feel like we've got many AD carries getting out of control in this game. There's 2 AD carries on the side of Weibo getting out of control, and LP getting all of these plates, having a CS advantage. I feel like he's getting real close to finishing off some items and becoming that Draven that we all know and fear. There we go. Triforce picked up alongside a serrated Dirk. And a Triforce finish for Wei as well, simultaneously. This is actually quite a big item spike across the board. Even though they're down in gold, right now RNG are strong.
And I'm gonna be real, I don't think RNG can give the second Rift Herald over to Weibo Gaming, as Xiaohu is just gonna take down this tier 1 top lane tower instantly if that goes over. But if you look at RNG's composition, how is Wei realistically going to get his resets? The ultimates are shared out from the RNG teammates. Okay.
Instantly answered. I thought that was gonna be Breathe kind of being baited in by Xiaohu, but I think Xiaohu realizing that, you know, you can look as juicy as you want, but that Renekton's gonna one-shot a little Yordle. As Tangyuan trying to finish the tower off. TheShy, I think he wants this one. Will he be able to find it? No. surrounded by minions here, can't push it. So Tangyuan grabs that tower down. Does mean it's a 1,000 gold lead, 3-kill advantage. As we broach the 15-minute mark, feel like we need to revisit compositions because Herald is coming up. Feels like Weibo have control.
Yeah, and the biggest problem is Tangyuan not having that TP available to join in on this fight, while Weibo Gaming, they had that option in the hands of TheShy. But back to my question of how is Wei going to be able to get those resets on this Viego, because you have to consider the fact that this LeBlanc with the static shiv build is a very slow poker, and she doesn't have the instant burst that can get someone to reset range. So we'll have to wait and see what RNG's execution is, because if LP dies again on this Draven, I think the game is pretty much over if he doesn't get the stacks.
Tangyuan should be able to get away. I love that TheShy is just constantly looking for the scrap against Tangyuan. He's not letting him farm for free. Certainly not. Wants to punish every single step. This way, clears some vision. And that vision control that was garnered by Weibo not too long ago has been denied to some extent. There is one deep ward, which I will say, TP available for TheShy. There's a ward behind where RNG would be postured. That can be dangerous with a Cassante.
RNG have been able to kind of slow down the game. Tangyuan has the TP available.
Oh, Breathe is going to be in big trouble. Crisp again with a perfect combo. Breathe doesn't even get to move. He's minced meat, taken out of the picture. And now with TheShy TPing in the top side as well, Weibo want to start the Herald. They want to grab this for themselves. Tangyuan trying to answer on the opposite side of the map. I don't know if he'll be able to get a tier 2 though. He's going to reset after all.
He doesn't have a wave to work off in the bottom side. Well, RNG, that's their front line gone pretty much out of the fight as he gets caught out by Weiwei and Crisp once again. I mean, the link up between the support and jungle of Weibo Gaming for this game 1 is insane, with the dragon spawning in 1 minute as well.
Xiaohu's even going to be able to get a tier 1 in the top side. This is before Herald was even taken. They're taking objectives around the map here. And this is clean from Weibo. We have been begging for clean games from Weibo. Tangyuan at least will answer, does get that tier 2, decided not to reset and at least get something on the map for RNG, and that keeps them in touching distance. 2,000 gold down now, but that Herald's still in pocket for Weibo, so you got to figure out where Weiwei's going next. They did a great job of tracking the Poppy early. They've got to keep that up.
Yeah, now you also have to consider the fact that this is going to be second dragon going to either teams, but RNG LvMao, he's going to struggle to get that vision control before Crisp, as he just doesn't have the same type of threat if Weiwei and Crisp decide to link up once again. And that's definitely going to really stagger RNG's major objective stacking, as you already see. I mean, Weibo Gaming, they're already setting up for this.
Yeah.
But I don't know, RNG very quiet early game, and we haven't seen too much of a proactive call coming out of this roster.
I think the thing is as well, when you're comparing the supports and their ability to gain vision control, like you've got on the one hand Emilio, who is totally on his own, and then on the other hand you've got Crisp, who's on a Rakan, which already you're super slippery.
Oh, look at
but you get any CC down. Hang on. Xiaohu in a bit of trouble here. Breathe and Wei jumping onto him. Oh, but the Buster shot hits both of them. And here comes Weiwei to save the day. Yordle Patrol on duty, whirling death across the team. Weiwei surviving as Breathe is the target. Wei goes down as well. And Weibo, I mean, this is a masterclass.
And the bottom lane of Weibo Gaming are just constantly there first. You see this 2 times in a row now, having that 4v2 numbers advantage. They're looking for more.
Certainly are. LP and LvMao backing away from this one as the Herald dropped down. This should be another tier 1. This would be the final tier 1 taken across the map. Here is they're going to go for a dive here. LvMao's gone, and that means LP is on his own. He's damn quick, though. Will walk away for his life.
How did Tangyuan die in top lane against TheShy? I need a replay, because bottom could have gone as worse as possible for the side of RNG. They already lost 2 members, but they end up losing 3. I don't know how Tangyuan ended up getting locked down by this Cassante champion.
And I've got to say, Weibo, after every single series they play, like being so messy, being so all over the place recently, the fact that they're consistently going into 3-game series as well, and then they come in today. Well, like, what a performance. It feels like everyone is firing on all cylinders. Here's the replay. It's got to be top lane, right? No! We still will never know.
Surely we'll get a replay after this skirmish, because it is just numbers advantage. Light flying in, Crisp flying in from 2 screens away on this Rakan, once again pulling off the clean flash W just to get rid of Wei before he finds those resets. Onto Weiwei. We do have, I believe, Breed getting caught out in the top side and needing to use his ultimate. We'll never find out how Tangyuan died in the side lane. But even so, I mean, this LeBlanc is really struggling to find the same type of influence compared to Xiaohu on this Tristan. And that's double 80 carries available to threaten Baron.
And that's the big question we had coming in today is, can Tangyuan have a big influence on the game when his Annie is banned away? And instantly we saw Weibo coming in, banning that Annie away from him. The Ahri hasn't been the same kind of priority ever since the static shift came back into the game. And it feels like Tangyuan's struggling to have the same influence. Now, I will say, he's had a lot of presence on that bot lane. In the side lane, like manages to get the tier 2. Is this it? Okay, this is what happened up top.
So Tangyuan already has his W distortion on cooldown. He uses it once again. Dashes into the Q3.
Gorgeous.
TheShy predicts Tangyuan's dash and then uses the all out to finish out on the job. Where is Tangyuan's final distortion from the R? I mean, that was just clean.
TheShy absolutely smurfed on him. That was gorgeous. Like, I know that there's a lot of people complaining about Cassante, but like when it's used like that, TheShy managing to out-mobility a LeBlanc and predict the way that Tangyuan was going to play. It's not even like Tangyuan was low at the start of the play. That was all just TheShy immaculate gameplay.
Yeah, reading Tangyuan to a T, with even the final prediction of Tangyuan's only escape, which is through the wall, but TheShy flashes over preemptively and prepares for that. I mean, that is a really insane 1v1 and huge redemption for TheShy, especially coming off that series from the side of IG, but that's Baron started up for Weibo Gaming.
Yeah, Tangyuan in the bottom side, both with ears. Crisp has to dash away to his team here. Baron down to 4k as RNG committing. Breed in the middle of everyone trying to buy space for his team as Weibo look for the fight instead. Breed taken down. 3 men strong in the river for RNG, but they're going to be outnumbered here if they stick around for this one. Tangyuan with a bomb on his head as well, as they will retreat, but this AP Kaiser is starting to get those resets, is starting to chunk. That's Baron taken for Weibo.
And RNG trying to just get the scraps on the map with that tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Can they get a second one? TheShy is still alive. I don't think that's a tier 2 for the side of RNG. You see, the map is completely dark for RNG to work on that Baron. And that, honestly, was just such a scrappy fight for this roster. They were so split.
Yeah, I mean, Tangyuan trying to get a hit on the tier 2 tower just runs in the opposite direction the second TheShy shows up, and rightly so after the previous play. Fantastic fight from Weibo. Bait them in by starting the Baron, isolate a player, take him out, and then take the objective. I mean, it's just clean. It's just absolutely clean from Weibo so far in this one. And you do have to wonder, like, what is the difference today? What changed in their morning routine that we get this version instead of the one for their most recent series?
Well, the difference is other than the one Ocean Soul going over towards RNG, they haven't been able to secure anything else on the map. And that includes kills. They're currently 0 and 8 and down 4k gold. I mean, yes, they're lucky enough that Tangyuan on this LeBlanc has been able to secure side lane towers, but with the Baron available, the static shift isn't going to be able to push as fast, especially with TheShy consistently in response to the side. Look at the tower taking ability, it's gone.
Yeah, these two Yordles definitely know how to take down a tower. And, I mean, you throw Ziggs in the mix as well. You've got a real team on your hands there. Moving to the mid lane now for another tier 2. Demolish not available, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. 2 towers taken down. Another job successfully achieved by the Yordle demo squad. Now up to the top side they can go. The wave not there though, unfortunately for them, but still a full minute on the Baron, so they'll be able to take that final tier 2, you'd imagine, and be able to pretty much just open the map for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You see RNG just letting these towers go one by one, but the problem with their composition is that they don't have a force to get onto the numbers advantage, while Tangyuan, I mean, he is still trying his best to push on these sides. But Baron buff in the pockets of Weibo Gaming, someone could just instantly recall with Baron and just respond to Tangyuan. But this game, this is the Weibo Gaming that we've been waiting for, and they have woken up in game 1.
They certainly have. I mean, all of the tier 2's taken now. Weibo looking fantastic, and if they can bring this format in playoffs, I think this could be the team that everyone wants them to be. I mean, there are so many fans internationally for this team. Like, Weibo, after buying the spot from Suning, had a pretty underwhelming entrance into the LPL, but now this roster, Xiaohu moving over, TheShy up top, Light and Crisp have been fantastic in the bottom lane, and weiwei has been a phenomenal jungler as well. Like, it does feel like the pieces can come together, and on paper it looks fantastic, but so often we've seen it just not really live up to that expectation. But TheShy looking fantastic today with the solo kill onto Tangyuan. The rest of the team working together so well in the bottom side of the map. Does feel like everything is kind of peachy keen for the time being for Weibo. However, RNG, they love going to 3 games. Their last 5 series have gone to 3 games. Can Weibo finish this in 2? I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. They've not won the game yet, but they are 7,000 gold up. I feel like the odds of them losing at this point, have I just cursed it? I might have just cursed it.
I don't want to be that person, but we've had a 8k gold lead by AL in a previous series up against Top Esports, and somehow, in some world, that game still went to Top Esports. Tangyuan,
Ooh. Good little blink back from Tangyuan. That's weiwei's flash on cooldown. Tangyuan, I don't know if he can get out of this one. You'd expect he can. As a LeBlanc, you can be very tricksy, but look at the mini-map. There are so many players collapsing onto him. Tangyuan, now with TheShy joining the fray as well, he's going to be able to find him, and that's distortion on cooldown. Pulls him over to Xiaohu. There's nowhere to go. How do you escape this? The bomb ticking away. And Tangyuan taken out. The replacement of Xiaohu finished off by the man himself.
Tangyuan just gets completely ping-ponged around by the members of Weibo Gaming, but this game is looking damn perfect from this team. But I also need to highlight that Light, he's hit the holy trinity of 3 items on this AP Kai'Sa now. He's gonna start hurting, and LP, he doesn't have any lifesteal. Anyone on RNG has that lifesteal, so they need to force as fast as possible before these Void Seekers start connecting.
I mean, the Whirling Death to try and clear the wave, but the demolition power on the side of Weibo is so strong. That's an inhibitor opened wide with Drake coming up onto the map in 50 seconds, Baron 10 seconds after that as well. Feels like Weibo in complete control of everything. One thing I will say for RNG is they've got some vision around this dragon. Maybe there's some kind of miracle. Maybe they can get into a brush and find a pick before a fight could happen.
To be fair, Weibo Gaming have so many ways of executing out this game. You can go for the Baron, you have double AD carries, give over this 4th dragon, you have great vision setup already in that top side, or just straight up look for the 5v5 and end the game. You don't need this final dragon. You seal the deal with an ace, and the game's over.
Crisp has found him. And LvMao taken out of the picture. Xiaohu wants a little bit more as he just jumps over the wall, trying to find LP, flashing forwards for it. His breathe is there alongside Wei, but I don't think LP has enough bodyguards. 2 just ain't gonna cut it as everyone slams on down. There's 2 for Light as he'll look for a 3rd as well. Breathe is gonna turn golden, and you'd expect the team to give it on over. Not sure they gave it, but it's a triple nonetheless. 13-0. This is absolute obliteration from Weibo.
And lucky RNG, they had no wave to work off for the side of Weibo Gaming after getting 4 members of the opposing team. They're going to secure themselves both the Dragon Soul and the Baron. Most likely going to group as that 5 member and just force into the mid lane with such a huge item advantage.
Let's take another look. Is LvMao, I think, thought he was safe, but Crisp just flash engage, and then Xiaohu's like, yeah, I'm not done with this one. We've got the numbers advantage. Without that exhaust, he probably just gets the kill on LP then and there.
Can I just say respect to LP taking exhaust this game. I don't know how he managed to get that exhaust onto a Tristana that's sitting on like 600 range, but it still delayed his death quite a lot. But this game is done and dusted for this RNG squad. And you kind of have to go back to the draft. I mean, you locked in the LeBlanc as that first pick for the blue side, trading off the Tristana and the Kai'Sa. the final response was this Draven, but the Draven got set so far behind in that early game, and I don't know if Milio was the final champion to lock in.
Weiwei spots the distortion pad. He's behind enemy lines. He's dropped his ward down. There's a recall coming through from Tangyuan. Wei in the area as well. Xiaohu's going to be able to find them. Jumps into the brush. He's searching. Do they know where he is?
Oh,
TheShy
sees them.
pops the Scryer's Bloom. They're going to be spotted. They're going to be denied their exit. And they will be taken down. Wei with an ult over the wall, but he's going nowhere. You can't escape this one. As he moves into the top side of the map, Tangyuan alongside him as well. I said they're going nowhere. They're going to the top side. They're getting away with it. TheShy trying to close the gap, but there's a blast code, and it sends him to the other side of the world. Wei, he'll be able to get into the brush. They actually both got away with it.
And the best thing is they denied a good 20 seconds away from this Baron buff getting secured by the side of Weibo Gaming. So that is a huge dump for this RNG squad without a single member dying. But now here's the problem. Xiaohu has that wave working in, and also mid as well. How are you going to respond to this?
The siege coming through from the side of Weibo. Tower already down to half and will be finished off. RNG, can they find a miracle fight? I feel like they need to actually commit to a fight. We haven't seen RNG just group up and go for it throughout this entire game. 10,000 gold down, and they're bleeding inhibitors. You can't, like, yes, you're losing the game, but, like, at least try and fight them at this point.
Oh, my tongue is so low.
Knocked out of the play once again. Another tower goes down. Nexus tower's bare. And they're just going to finish this game off. The knockups come on through. Weibo absolutely destroying RNG. Not a single kill given over Weibo. Playoffs form acquired.
15-0 is the scoreline of game one. Not giving a single opportunity over to this RNG squad. This is the Weibo